Hello, my name is Muhanad Elimamali, also known as Mo. And I'll be going over BiasBuster, which is my 302 project. Well, as a college student, I've always needed to watch out for any biases in research that I do. So the purpose of BiasBuster was um to its main purpose was to help users recognize and adjust potential biased language in their writing. If not their writing in a web page, if not their web page, then in an article. I developed it using simple JavaScript, simple HTML, and a very diverse JavaScript background. This is the full folder in whole. So I have one, two, three. I have three JavaScript files, which are very important towards the whole project. It is a JavaScript project. I have an HTML file, which is what the user sees. The styles, obviously, and then the icon. But the one that I want to be looking into today for the video is just content.js. I'm not sure if you're able to see this clearly, but I'll be giving you a rundown of content.js. But before I start talking about it, the script is a Chrome extension background, a Chrome extension background script using uh, right here chrome.runtime.onMessage.addListener. It's an API. It listens for a message with an action key, specifically for the analyze action, which is also pointed out in the code, and processes the page's text and content to detect biased language. Its core features are the analyze text for bias function, which scans the document's text for predefined bias words that I've selected, such as always, never, and clearly, which may indicate potential bias in the language. The bias detection mechanism as a whole. So it works as so the function uses regular expressions to count occurrences of each bias word in case sensitive manner. A bias score is calculated uh, as the ratio of the sum of bias words occurrences to the total word count. It's a little bit of math, but it's essentially the number the number of biased words over the total words. The output is if the biased words are detected, the function lists them along with their respective counts and bias score. If no biased words are found, it returns a message stating no significant bias detected, as pointed out in the code. Lo- um, so the script logs the analyzed text and the occurrence of the biased words to the console for troubleshooting or debugging purposes. Some potential enhancements that I could work on is expand the bias word list and maybe incorporate more context specific or nuanced words depending on the domain. Contextual analysis, maybe, adding checks for sentence context to refine bias detection. Um, the way I see it is looking for just words that may carry bias is not really scalable. So contextual analysis is really important just to refine bias detection and make it more usable. Um, Definitely include user feedback or just peer feedback. And some practical case uses for this specific code or just for bias buster in general is it can be used as part of a browser extension, which is what I did here. It's also very important for promoting awareness and potential bias in communications. The whole bias detection software relies heavily on predefined word lists, which, like I said, might not capture all the forms of bias. And also the bias score, it's really just simple maths. It's kind of like percentage of biased words in a web page. Initially going through this code, I had trouble with always getting uh the same message over and over again, which was no significant bias detected, and that was due to the fact that the math is a little too simple. But if able to, creating a formula that kind of expands a little more on how these bias words affect the whole web page or the whole just content in general, using contextual clues could make this a lot more scalable. Thank you.